Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Season Ticket Holders. I'm your host, Dane Lillingstone, and I have a returning guest for here back with us today. He is a Brisbane Broncos member, Queensland superfan, and normally I'd sledge someone at this point, but mate, I got nothing bad to say about you. Aidan Mathews, welcome back to the show.
Oh, Dane, it's good to be back. Thanks for inviting me again.
No
Um,
worries.
can't wait.
No worries, mate. Anytime. And obviously, Origin teams have dropped the last 24 hours. For New South Wales, pretty unexciting. Completely the same, 1 to 17. Few changes to our extended bench. We will get into them shortly. But I wanted to start with the Maroons because that's obviously the massive talking point today. The
Yep.
team dropped this morning. I will read the team out first, but just initial reactions. I mean, I really thought Reece Walsh was going to be in this team. I think a lot of people thought that. He was there last year and they didn't get the job done. He had a knee injury coming into game one, which why he was initially overlooked with Kalen Ponga, who wasn't really in form himself, gets
Mm.
picked. But obviously the SOS is out. Kalen Ponga's out long term. They need a new fullback. Hamaso Tabuai Fido gets the nod. Reece Walsh is 18th man, so still in the team. And then, of course, the other bolter, which I know you feel passionately about, and we will get to it, Gehamat Shibasaki, the absolute bolter out of nowhere, who's had a really
Mm.
great season for the Broncos. But really, if you had to ask someone at the beginning of the year if you thought Shibasaki would be in an Origin team, you'd probably get 1,000 to 1, right?
It's
Uh,
also Shibasaki and Toya to be our centers. Like, that's pretty crazy.
No, that is a good point, and I forget about that too. It's a real rookie centre pairing. Mate, just initial reactions. I can see a beautiful background behind you, Queenslander.
Yeah. Eight
What
in a
was
row. Yep.
great times? We have many good memories together back then. But your initial reactions when you saw the team this morning?
Some things I really love, like Big Papa. I love Big Papa coming back, but it's also confusing as well because game one, Mo Fotuaika, I felt like didn't do too much, but then he still got picked for game two, and then we won, and now he gets dropped. So it's a bit weird.
Hmm.
Uh, Bisaki coming in, like it's a great story, really, like from where he's come from. But I personally, like as a Broncos fan, I feel like if it was my choice, I'd play Cobbo over him, play Mariner over him. He's done really well, but I just feel like other players have a higher ceiling. But I'm happy for him. He's it's a beautiful story, but yeah, it's surprising. I thought Reece Walsh would have just come straight back in. Hammer killed it on the wing last game, so why change it? But obviously, Hammer scoring four tries makes it a bit hard not to pick him.
What an audition that was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Walshy
Uh,
had a good game too, but yeah, Hammer killed it.
Yeah, that was the biggest shock for me. I'm just going to go through the team now and then we'll get into a little bit more. But yeah, like we just said, Hamaso Tabuai Fido moves from the wing where he scored two tries in game two in Perth to
Yep.
fullback to cover Kalen Ponga. We've got Xavier Coates and Valentine Holmes on the wings with Shibasaki and Toy in the centers, like we said, which is again, yeah, if you asked anyone if that's going to be the center pairing for Queensland in game three at the beginning of the year, maybe 1,000,000 to 1. That's probably how
Yeah.
far out the odds were to see those two. Munster and Dearden back in the halves together. And like you did touch on, Josh Papali'i is back from the wilderness, come out of a representative retirement to come back to Billy Slater, answered the SOS with Tino Fasul Harry Grant at hooker, Ruben Cotter, Capewell, and the Arrow rounding out the starting forwards. Kurt Mann, Lindsay Collins, Pat Carrigan, and Jeremiah Nane, the same bench as game two that got the job done. So, yeah, look, the initial one, like we said, Hammer, mate, he scored four tries on the weekend. He looked really good in Queensland. And my just initial thought was he looks so good on the wing and he's such a try scorer. He's up there
Mm.
with top Queensland try scorers now. Why move something that works so well when Reece Walsh could have been a straight swap straight into this team? That way, you're not really disrupting the back line. That way, you're not giving Shibasaki a debut in a deciding
Yeah.
game three in Sydney. I mean, is there any more pressure in rugby league than that? Um, and then that's obviously what they've rolled out. Hamiso is going to do a great job. Don't get me wrong at all. And I think he was a real clear option as well. And I think scoring 4 tries on the weekend did that really nudge him over the line. Wouldn't be
Mhm.
surprised. But Reece Walsh has been amazing, I think, since he's come back for the Broncos. Obviously, you and I watch their games very closely every week. He just looks like he's got a certain confidence at the moment. I know that knee looked like it was still troubling in the warm up last week, but watching him against the Warriors, like he still just looked really good. He's finding his players. He's not breaking the crazy line like he did a couple of years ago, but he seems to be maturing as a player, which was my worry that he wouldn't do after that big year. You think? What do you think Billy's thinking when it comes to going with Hammer?
I personally, I think Hammer makes me feel a bit safer. Like I feel like there's going to be less errors, probably better defensively,
Mm,
but at the same time, I feel like we're probably a better team with Walsh at fullback, Hammer on the wing. But I think it probably shows as well. Like we're probably going to play a lot more direct because Hammer's not really a ball player. He's just a runner and we've got the forwards. I know New South Wales forwards are elite, but Hammer just going in around the rock, ready to just sprint away, use his speed. So it could be good because I think sometimes we do go a bit sideways, but yeah. Trust in Billy though. That's all I gotta say.
in
Like,
in in Billy we trust.
yeah.
Now on Hammer, he became the seventh highest try scorer for Queensland. Scored two, overtook Alan Langer after game
Mm,
two in Perth. He's just one behind Dane Gagai, Billy Slater, and Dale Shearer. They're all on 12. He's currently on 11. Got a little way to go to catch Greg Inglis at 18, but man, you think that he's still got plenty of years left. He could probably do it, end up the highest try scorer for Queensland. Look, fair enough. I think it'll be a good job there. Wings, I don't think we have to touch much on like Coates and Holmes. You
yeah.
know what you're going to get from those guys. Um, Holmes got caught out in that first game. That edge still looked a little bit shaky, and it's going to be very interesting on how they're going to trust their
Yeah.
inside men with Toyer and Shibasaki. We've spoken about Shibasaki, but he's the absolute definition of a rugby league journeyman.
Mm,
27 years old, debuted for the Broncos back in 2018, played 2 seasons, played 13 games. Then went to the Knights for a couple of years, played 14 games. Went to the Cowboys in 2023, only managed 2 games. South Sydney last year played 1 game, and then he came to the Broncos on basically like a train and trial deal at the beginning of the year to see if he could, I guess, have one more crack at it. I mean, 27 has never really cemented his spot in the side. Um, Now he's played 15 games for the Broncos, and did I hear it right? He is now leading the NRL for tries. Is that right? I
I actually don't know.
I think he is at the moment. I'll bring that up shortly. But mate, I know you've got your opinions, and I do want to hear them soon because you've said you don't even think he should really be starting for the Broncos, or you think there are players that could be starting above him. But just from what
Yeah.
we've seen, defensively, he's been great. He's been able to try and find the try line this year. I mean, he's been the shock of the season as far as players who just improved out of sight. Maybe he just always needed a chance. Maybe Michael Maguire's working some magic up in Brisbane. But you tell me your opinions because I know you're not as high as I am.
Um, Personally, I think he's probably deserved it. Like he's deserved his spot in the Broncos team, which like I don't think he should have got picked from round one, but he's taken his chance and he's run with it. Like he got his opportunity and he's made the most of it. So fair play. You can't really drop him because he's doing so well.
Yeah.
I just know like I like the upside of Cobbo. I like the upside of Mariner. Um, I just and also I'm kind of scared we're going to lose those players at the Broncos, but it's impressive what Shibasaki has done. So really happy for him, and hopefully, like what a story if we come out with a win.
Uh,
Like,
You sunk the boot in a lot harder in the group chat, mate.
hey, 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 don't make me bring up the nickname you used to call him. So
No idea, mate. No idea what you're talking about. I will tell you that when Shibasaki did cross to the try of the Broncos, he did become the highest try scorer. That was until
mm,
Hammer scored four on the day after. So Hammer now
yeah,
leads with 15 tries in the NRL, and Shibasaki is second with Ryan Pappenhausen with 12. And Jesse Arthurs is still there as well with 11. He hasn't been good in recent weeks, but he is still there with 11 as well. So look, not too bad. We have the two highest try scorers
mm,
playing for Queensland. That's not too bad. Yeah, look, I love watching him play, and I think he's been amazing. So I'm really happy to see him there. I suppose not much to be said about captain Cam Munster. Put in a man of the match performance. I think
Mm.
I don't know, float my boat. I think a lot of Queenslanders would have said it, but we needed that type of game from him in game two, and he did it. And
Yeah, we did.
were we surprised? Really? I mean, he's the X factor guy that can put Queensland on his
Mm.
back, right?
Yeah, he is, and he captain's performance, classic Munster performance. I was worried that because we didn't have DCE and Dearden coming in, that Munster, like game one, Munster did all the kicking while DCE was there, which I found quite weird. Game two, he still did a lot of kicking, but he just looked the best when he was running. But yeah, Dearden's not a big kicker, so Munster stepped up, so he's been really good.
Yeah, it's been interesting because it's sort of like having two 5'8s a little bit, but Dearden can do it all, mate. He's one guy I wanted to get to because he looked amazing. I've gone back and watched the highlights, the extended highlights a couple of times from game two. He doesn't look out of place. He played a big hand in those early tries for Queensland. He put the kick up for Hammer, I think, and he also
Mm.
cut the line in deep to really set up their first try as well. He looks great, man. He's a very humble kid. Doesn't give away too much, but he can tackle. He's got that heart. He's got that Queensland spirit. He can do a bit of it all. And man, he came back into that team. And Billy's a bit of a genius for dropping Daly Cherry Evans, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
I think Dearden's just an origin player. Like he might not have the kicking skill set of DCE, but he's tough and he just doesn't give up. Like you see Cowboys just getting pumped every week. Sorry, Cowboys fans, but you see Dearden like he's always there. He's always chasing. He's always the last man there. Like he's just a gun.
yeah, that's because he got debuted in that Broncos wooden spoon team.
Those are tough years. We don't talk about those.
Hey, yeah, I mean, he's obviously coming out the other end. Now let's get to our number eight. You did mention it before, Big Papa, Josh Papali'i, mate. Awesome to see him back. He did retire from rep football, but he's answered the call to Billy Slater. He's 33, but he's been great this year. I mean, one of the great moments in rugby league this year, it's going to remain this way to the end of the year, is him crossing for two tries when he's breaking that record for most games as a Canberra Raiders player. Ricky Stewart's almost in tears on the sidelines. But we didn't think we'd see him back. Obviously, Mo Fodawaker is the man that has made way, dropped. Billy's a ruthless guy. He doesn't care about cutting into a winning team. He's obviously just, going for this decider in Sydney. What did you think of the recall? I didn't think I would see it happen.
I personally didn't think it would happen because I feel like it looks a bit weird, and also because we came off a win. Um, but I love it. Like I think Mo should have been dropped from game one. I think Trent Loiero is lucky to keep his spot as well, personally.
Billy
But
really likes him, doesn't he? Yeah.
yeah, I think he does. I think it's that Melbourne connection. But I'm just happy for Big Papa, and I'm glad he like came out of retirement because I'm sure it wasn't hard for Billy. Like for Papa, once he got the call from Billy to just be like, "Yeah, I'm ready." Because
Former teammate as well. They played in the Maroons together. So
yeah, it's crazy. And personally, I think Papa's probably in career best form or close to it. He's killing it.
it's
Can
crazy,
kick
right?
goal, backup goal kicker too. So
We might need it, or maybe New South Wales could use him. Um, uh,
yeah,
he called it back in 2023, time in his Origin career, and now comes back as a 33-year-old. But like you said, career best form. He's now played 321 games for the Raiders. He's played 23 games for Queensland. Has scored three tries. He made his debut back in 2013. So
yeah,
awesome to see the big man back. I think with him and Tino locking in that front row, that's an intimidating big pack that can match it with New South Wales. And that's been the weakness of this Queensland team the last couple of series now is the New South Wales forwards have just dominated us. But maybe the
yeah.
tide is turning. And Harry Grant as well. He looked very good at hooker in that last game, made up for that shocker in game one. Obviously, he came in with a bit of an injury cloud originally. He looks back to his best, right? Like I got to talk to him in the sheds afterwards, and yeah, he seemed pretty happy. They didn't want to give too much away when I did talk to them in Perth. They didn't want to say anything about, can we turn this around? They said we just got to concentrate on this game. But
Mm.
what do you make of that forward pack?
I think it's a lot better. Like it's very strong. New South Wales still probably on paper has the stronger pack, but like Tino and Papali, you got Cotter capable on the edges. Like that's there's not much more you can really do apart from maybe start Pat Carrigan at lock. But like, it's a strong forward pack. But just unfortunately for us, New South Wales has probably the best forwards in the NRL at the moment. Like Payne Haas, like
The best.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily the best.
Yeah.
And
No, no, I get you.
yeah,
And the thing about the Queensland pack is too, man, we're picking them. I know New South Wales people hate it, but it almost is like on this heart, this spirit, like things that
mm,
aren't necessarily skills based. Because the man I wanted to get to is Kurt Capewell. The quote that was brought up before game two is he'd missed the most tackles in the NRL. He comes out and he's one of the best players in Origin
yeah,
2, right? Like he's just sometimes statistics and numbers, even though we love Supercoach, they just
yeah,
don't show the real story because Capewell personifies that type of player who you know you can trust him, you know he can do a job, and when he comes in and puts that Queensland maroon jersey on, you won't let him down. I mean, he's 31. They could have easily gone with other players, but I was pretty impressed with how he went there. Like you mentioned, Liero too, and Lock again. Billy's opted for the exact same bench that got the job done. Kurt Mann, I thought, was really good as well. He injected what we needed him to do. He set up a nice try in game two with that pop out the ball, offload to Kate Well, I think it was as well. And
yeah,
then
it was.
yeah, and then in Collins, Carrigan, and Nane. Now, I know what you were saying before, but I did have a thought today when I did see the team. It's like I could understand maybe why Billy wants to have sort of Paddy, Lindsay, Nane in there when you'd argue that probably Carrigan and Nane could be starting. Um, I don't know. I just like the bench, right? When you look at it, you go, that's a pretty good bench. And maybe that is what Billy's going for. He doesn't mind taking some of the shine. I mean, Pat Carrigan's top,
Mm,
few locks in the game. He's one of the very best. People would be crazy not to start him over Liero, who doesn't, he's done a job, but I mean, he wouldn't even he wouldn't crack the New South Wales side, nowhere near it.
yeah,
Um, and but I sort of like what Billy's doing there. It's like we have this punch off the bench. You can bring Carrigan on after 20 minutes when they are a bit tired, when there is a bit of shine taken out of the game, and he can really churn through those meters. Nane is a bit of an X factor type player, can be quite hit and miss, but it worked in game two, right? What do you like the
yeah,
bench?
yeah. Like I said before, like Pat Carrigan starting is probably my preference, but realistically, like we don't have the we don't have the players there. We don't have the caliber of bench that New South Wales has. So we need to probably sacrifice that couple spots in the starting lineup to just have that impact off the bench. Because before you would just say we'd lose Tino and Paddy at the same time. That's a big drop off when you're bringing on Trent Loiero and Lindsay Collins. Lindsay Collins is great, but like still a big drop off. So it's smart what Billy's doing. On paper, it still doesn't feel right, but it's working, and I just trust Billy, man.
Well, I was gonna say we say it all the time, Billy we trust.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it is surprising when you see that team, but even just making the call to bring in Josh Papali'i and just straight up drop Mo Fotuaika, like it's a big call. I mean, bringing in Shibasaki for his debut in one of the most high pressure situations imaginable in sport, the big call. But he turned it around in game two when no one gave Queensland a chance. I mean, they were rated complete outsiders. I know from being based in Sydney with all my Fox Sports colleagues, everyone's talking about the dynasty. They get straight into it, mate. But then Queensland comes out back against the wall and does what they do, and I love to see it. Let's get into New South Wales, mate, because we've gone through the Queensland team. Oh, sorry, just to touch on too, we did mention Reece Walsh, his 18th man. Jermaine
Yep.
Hopgood, who's been there before, 19th, and Josh Kerr was probably the big shock one in that 20, right? Like that was I didn't expect to see that coming. Don't think anyone did.
Yeah, like I personally like the Josh Kerr 20th man. Jermaine Hopgood doesn't, I feel like it's kind of pointless because he's been there before. Like I'd like to just give some other guys experience. But yeah, Josh Kerr's like a player of the future. He's big, he's mobile, like loves an offload. So maybe in a few years, once Big Papa retires again, and depends how long we got with him, maybe another 1 year, 2 years. But yeah, the future.
Most beautiful teeth of any NRL player I've ever interviewed. Fun fact,
Oh,
Josh
really?
Kerr.
Okay.
I don't know, mate. They are just they're white and beautiful, and maybe he had some work done. I don't know, but they look good.
So
Mate,
indeed.
to New South Wales, mate. Now, not too exciting. That's why I wanted to start with Queensland, but it
Yeah.
is the exact same 1-17. I'll just get straight into it. Dylan Edwards, there at fullback, has been doing a job. Brian Toto and Zach Lomax, that's an incredible wings pair. And Brian Toto, amazing again for New South Wales. Just about their best in game too. You can't stop him, mate. Those legs just don't stop running. Remind me of me playing at prop in under 14s. Stephen Crichton and Latrell Mitchell in the centres. I mean, again, just absolutely lethal backline that they have. Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary, the old Panthers connection, are back. Mitch Moses is obviously still out injured. Max King still remains in that starting spot, which he got elevated to in game two with Payne Haas. Reece Robson there does their job at nine. Then Liam Martin, Angus Crichton, and Isaiah Yeo, the captain. And then the bench, same again. Connor Watson, Spencer Lenu, Hudson Young, and Stefano Utoikamanu. I mean, no surprises here, right? I mean, if New South Wales had went on and got pumped after that first half, you'd imagine that Laurie Daly would be thinking of some changes. But the fact that they almost came back in that last 5 minutes in game two looked like they were going to pull it off, which would have been the biggest comeback in Origin history.
Oh, yeah.
Would have broken our hearts for
Oh,
sure.
that second half was disgusting. I was hating every minute of that second half. We couldn't complete a set.
Oh, mate,
It was,
I was in the media box in Perth at Optus
mm,
Stadium, and I was like the only one cheering loudly because it was majority Sydney media, and I don't think they liked me.
it's a
But
bit of a flex, bro. A bit of a flex.
hey, well, we got the front row seat to Wolf Mother. That was nice, little window, and best catering at any stadium I've been to
Oh,
so far.
really?
Yeah, yeah, they really took care of us there, mate. Even put out some beers at the end of the game. Too late. We could have used them during the game.
Yeah.
But there was a lady there helping us make coffees and some really classy sausage rolls and party pies. Not the Audi brand, man. It was a fancy brand for sure.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lots of sauce, man. Lots of sauce. But it was a really good experience. And by the way, to Optus, if you ever get a chance, mate, awesome stadium. It's like the Death Star. It really stands out from the outside. And then when you're in there, it feels like a bit of a coliseum. Like it's a really incredible stadium. Like, and the atmosphere was pretty good, even though it was in Perth.
We have to go to a Bronx game when Perth come in.
100%, man. We should go to the first game they do it there, or go to
Yeah.
the cricket sometime there. It can be pretty cool too.
Yeah, true. Yeah. That should
Yeah.
be good.
Now, mate, just looking at that team, yeah, I mean, like I said, if the fact that they came back and almost pulled it off, I think you didn't need to make any changes to the 17. I can't think of anyone that they're really leaving out.
I think the biggest surprise is Matt Burton's not 18th man, realistically.
But they still chose a
That's his
Bulldog.
spot.
Just
That's yeah, they did choose a Bulldog. Gus isn't going to be happy. Um,
no, missing out
there was
again.
there was talk Stefano probably could get dropped, but I think Bellamy being part of that New South Wales coaching team, like I think he's obviously got a soft spot for Stefano. I guess who you going to put there as well? Um,
I mean, Lindsay Smith is 19th man.
yeah,
And then was Keon Koloamatangi, right?
yep.
That's the big shock drop, I guess. Even though he was only extended last time, he's missed the extended this time, and has been over the last month one of the best form forwards in the game. A lot of people thought, I mean, he could have potentially came into that team for game two and now misses the 20 altogether. With
I
Jacob
believe.
Kiraz,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry. I was going to say I believe there's like something the eighth, like the 19th, 20th man can't be from a team that's playing this weekend.
Okay, okay, that would
I
make
th
sense.
Yeah, yeah, because Knights and Panthers aren't playing, and Eels and Dolphins aren't playing. So yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
right.
sense.
Well, the way the Origin camp works is to, I mean, you don't always hear about it, but I know just from covering New South Wales and the Blue Mountains, they'll just bring in players that, have a run during the week anyway, like after the
Yeah.
round of footy. So Monday, Tuesday, when I was there last time, Katoni Staggs was there. Like I got a little
Oh,
fanboy
really?
moment. Yeah, because when I was, I went to the hotels waiting in the lobby for the media day. I think it was the Monday. Or maybe it was the few days before the game, and who was he sitting next to? But it was Katoni Staggs sitting on the couch, and we didn't really hear about that. But he just, came into camp to help out. The Broncos might have been playing in Sydney that weekend or something. But
Oh, I think we were. Yeah.
yeah, that would make sense. Not just flying him down from Brisbane just to have a training run. But yeah, that was awesome. Love Katoni.
Yeah.
As you know, unlucky Selwyn. But mate, yeah, so yeah, I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, this New South Wales team is still going to come in pretty confident based on that second 40. I don't really even know if we need to go through too many players. I mean, like I said, I think Brian Toto is one of their best. I think they missed Mitchell Moses' kicking game. I think between
Yep.
him and Nathan Cleary, right? Like they had the two best long kickers in the game, just about. And then Jerome Luai is just he's more of a traditional 5'8". He's a runner. His short kicking game's good. but he's not really a long kicker. I mean, when you got Nathan Cleary, but Moses gave that option for them to play both sides, to be a bit more open. And then wasn't it Jerome Luai on the very first kick of the game at the end of their set? He
Kicked it
kicked it out
out.
the kicked it out in the full,
Yeah.
and that really set the tone in that game too. Him not being able to do that, I don't think Mitch Moses would have done that. Like it just that was the difference for them. I think they are going to miss him. I think Jerome Luai is a great player as well, but I do think that helped Queensland in game two, not having him there, right?
Uh, Definitely. I think more so, like, I think Moses helps Nathan a bit more, like, helps Cleary because, like, Jerome actually had a pretty good game. He had a few try assists. I thought Nathan probably had the worst game personally.
Well, we do have to know too, because he didn't let anyone know, but he did end up saying he was under an injury cloud, as was Brian To'o, who we knew about, but that didn't show at all, and Payne Haas. So those three all revealed they
Yeah.
had minor injuries. Obviously, Payne's looked good for the Broncos since, and Nathan put on a pretty good game in the weekend too.
Oh, he
But
killed it. Yeah.
yeah, but he didn't goal kick in game two, which this was the surprising thing. They had Zach Lomax go in there and do it. But just from watching the weekend, Nathan Cleary didn't look any bad, did he? I don't think I remember him
He
looking.
he didn't look injured at all. He didn't
Yeah,
goal kick still, but he did not look injured.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so that'll be interesting for them. But look, they're going to come in pretty confident. It's in Sydney. They can't Queensland again, which is pretty similar to game two. They're rated about a $3 outsider. New South Wales $1.40
Mm.
favorites. I mean, they're going to feel pretty confident because, like, watching those two games, that first half, it sort of felt to me like the first half from game one, but for Queensland, like they were their own worst enemy. They were making all those errors. I know that New South Wales is going to go on about the 8-0 penalty count at halftime, but I mean, you do that to
But
yourself.
what
I mean,
wasn't a penalty? Like, you elbowed someone in the head.
I mean,
Like,
to be fair, in slow motion, I remember looking at it the night going, it's a penalty. In slow motion, I mean, when you look at it real time, like it was unlucky. You slow it
it's
down, it looks different.
it's still a penalty. Like, it's
Well,
always a penalty.
well, I know the
There
rest
was the
came.
eye gouge as well.
Well, I
Like,
think they said they reviewed that game, and I think they only said there were maybe like three missed penalties in the first half, and I think two were maybe to New South Wales and one to Queensland. It was something like that. It was still
yeah,
low. I
yeah,
think they only said that maybe one of them wasn't a penalty. So, I mean, they can go on about the penalty count all they want, and I know that the New South Wales media was right into the NRL straight after the game, though, saying the refs are going to cough it. Like I heard some conversations, at which they did afterwards,
yeah,
but like it's discipline. Then that's modern day footy, like six agains and all that type of thing. If you give away silly things, like Queensland did the exact same thing in that first half in game one, and they got blown away. And then the tables just sort of flipped in this game. It's
yeah.
so important, right?
Oh, it's very important. And I think just New South Wales media just can't stop complaining. Like,
Well, mate,
think
you're
about
talk.
last year.
I'm New South Wales media, so what are you talking about?
You're Queenslander in New South Wales media. It's just you're undercover, bro. You're
That is
behind
true.
enemy lines.
I am. I get sledged all the time around this time of year. They hate me.
But look at
Um,
last year. Like, Suali'i took Walsh's head off,
yeah.
and they're complaining that it was a send off. I'm like, that's probably the worst tackle I've ever seen,
Definitely modern day
realistically.
footy for sure. I remember being at the stadium for
Yeah,
that too, and it was like that was insane, and it ruined the game too. But
it
you can't
did
do
ruin
anything.
it.
You can't do anything about it though. Like
But that's
that's
the thing is the ref didn't ruin the game. The tackle ruined the game. Like, you
yeah,
can't, like, yeah, they had a player down. We lost our fullback, who hasn't
yeah.
been the same since, like, till maybe recently.
Maybe about the
But
month ago. Yeah, it took him about a
yeah,
year to
yeah,
recover.
yeah.
Um, so just looking into it, mate, I know it is going to be hard in Sydney. It's going to be a very similar storyline heading into this, like Queensland underdogs, which is a story we've heard a million times before. Backs against the wall, got to go down to Sydney in front of 80,000 at Accor Stadium to try and get this job done against a New South Wales team that's unchanged, hasn't really got any injury concerns yet that we know of.
Mm.
Full strength, and they're going to come in full of confidence because they dominated that second 40 minutes of football in game two. How do you see this going out? Do you think New South Wales pretty deserved to be that bigger favourites, and can Queensland turn it around?
I think they probably deserve to be favourites. Uh, on paper, I think also, like, with game two, it wasn't just New South Wales playing good in the second half. We played awful. I don't think we completed a set for the first 20 minutes of that second half. So if we could hold on to the ball, obviously New South Wales, they're going to be a bit more disciplined and like less errors as well. So we need to match that. And I just think I honestly think it's going to be a game like last year, round game three, where it's the first one to flinch. Basically, like it's going to be non-stop, not much downtime, like lots of ball in play, and eventually someone's got to crack, and hopefully New South Wales is the one that cracks, and we get a big Papa try or Shibasaki try, like because if we win, it's like a legendary win, like almost like 2020, because two rookie centers, one of them probably a Q Cup player. Well,
Told you he hated Shibasaki.
he's killing it, but like on paper, he's probably not as like look who he's up against. He's up against Stephen Crichton, like
You can't
two-time Dally
you really cannot compare our backlines, can you? I mean, even now,
Coates. You probably can, and Bowell, but yeah, the centers so different. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, Latrell and Crichton versus Toya and Shibasaki. No one would have picked that. No, you're very right, mate. And I suppose one of the criticisms of this series, and that I've heard people say, is that it has lacked that intensity, I guess, of
Mm,
previous Origins. These two games aren't really what you'd come to expect from Origin football. There's been lots of errors, lots of mistakes. It hasn't been that nice grinding footy where what we saw in game three last year, where it was like the absolute opposite. No one would really flinch. It was balls to the wall footy. First one to make an error who lets the line break slip will take advantage. And that's what happened when Jerome Luai made that line break in the second half and they sealed it later on. But that was awesome. I was there in Suncorp watching it as a fan and for working. And that's probably what you'd have to tip for game three, right? Like I'd be shocked if New South Wales would come out and roll them like they did in game one. I just think Billy Slater, even if they are big underdogs, he'll have them ready for this game. And I agree with your assessment. Like I think it will come down to one big moment, one
mm,
big situation, one big player standing up when it counts. Whether it's your Cam Munster or your Nathan Cleary, it's going to be something
mm,
like that. Maybe a field goal, like it's going to come down to
mm.
one of those big moments. And I can't wait because like the stage is set. Classic Origin decider, mate. What more do you want?
It's the best thing it's world sport, I reckon. Like it's the most intense rivalry. Like it's yeah, you can't beat it. You can't even explain to some people like who don't like to a foreigner like you can't explain to them what state of origin is really. Like it's yeah,
You're right. We grew up with it. We make a day of it. It's a big moment. People come to work wearing their colors. People are talking about it all the next day. People are calling in sick the next day. Every pub's decked out, for the colors of Origin. You're right, though. I'd agree with you. Like, I'm obviously a massive sports guy. I love a lot of sports, but rugby league will always be my sport. And I always say it, but there's only three times better than Christmas, and that's State of Origin one, two, and three, baby.
yeah,
Like that's the time. It's excitement. You wake up in the morning, you want to put your scarf on, you're proud to represent your state, and you just love it. And you know you're going to get a great game of footy. You can say that maybe they weren't the classic grinding those two games, but it's an intense rivalry. And I even loved in that game too. There was lots of niggle early in that first
yeah.
half too. Like you could tell the players had gone up about a bit of another level. Queensland had something to prove. New South Wales probably thought they'd come out and roll them, and you could tell they were just pissed off, and it was good to
Mm.
watch.
It was awesome.
Bring it on, baby.
First half, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Let's go, mate. Let's go. Mate, where are you going to be watching the game? Do you have any plans yet? Wednesday night, next Wednesday
Uh
night?
Probably at the pub, I'm gonna guess, with mates, hopefully. So what yeah, you're gonna be at the game, so I'm a bit jealous.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't think I'm working the game, but so
Oh,
I
you're
could.
not?
I will know. I think I'll be doing the morning after. I'll be going to the hotels,
Yeah, okay.
doing the players afterwards, that type of thing. So I might even be able to enjoy this one at the pub too, because that is. I do love this. A great time. Just go to the pub with a
Mm.
palmy, bunch of pints, and get with the people. New South Wales crowd's really not the same as Queensland. I noticed that when I first came down here, like watching it at the pub, they're a bit more subdued, a bit more relaxed. It's not like your mad, rabid Queenslanders. I, of course, was up in
Oh,
Cairns for 3 years watching it with North Queenslanders. That's an even another level up.
yeah, that's
But
next level.
yeah, but they're a bit more subdued down here, mate. But
They just got
yeah,
no passion, basically.
throwing barbs. If you can't get anything out of the players, come here to Aidan Mathews on season ticket holders, folks. He'll get them going for game three. Mate, thank you very much for joining me, mate, to breaking down this state of origin. I think we're set for an absolute classic deciding game three in Sydney. Queensland underdogs. New South Wales looking to start a new dynasty. We'll have to wait and see come
Yeah,
Wednesday
Dynasty.
night. We never know, mate. It's gonna come true for them one of these days. Mate,
Do you
thank you,
have a
mate.
prediction? Sorry.
Game prediction, the score.
Yeah, like score, player of the match.
Mate, I'd be pretty happy to go with a low scoring affair. I haven't thought too much about it, but I'd be pretty happy to say like we're looking like a 10-6 or something like that. Late try, late penalty goal even.
Yeah.
And I said it in game two, but I think we need Cam Munster to stand up and do it again. Although it'd be very nice to see Tom Dearden pull it out. So I'm gonna go with Tom Dearden, man of the match, 10-6 Queensland.
Oh,
There you go. What do you got for me?
I'm gonna go for my boy Shibasaki, man of the match.
Oh, it's how the tables have turned, folks.
Nah, I think I was thinking 10-6 or 8-6 as well. I I might go Big Papa, man of the match.
What a story. He comes back after a few years in the wilderness at rep level and scores a try.
I think even Ricky will cry again if he scores. So
Even though being a New South Welshman.
exactly, yeah, he could cry for the other reason.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's going to be tough, mate. They're going to need to be on their game. But yeah, can't wait come Wednesday. Aidan, thanks for joining us again on Season Ticket Holders.
Thank you, Dane. Good to be here.
Thanks a lot, mate. And thank you guys for supporting us. Always appreciated. Enjoy the game Wednesday night. I will bring some more throughout the week when I get into Origin Camp at the Blue Mountains. But thank you very much for listening. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Queenslander.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Perfect. I can use that.